Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Katie Sue if you didn't know, and I'm very excited for this video because this is my first ever reading wrap-up. This reading wrap-up is going to cover April and May because I just started like really getting into consistently reading, and I have some really good books that I read in April that I want to give my opinion on, and I just thought it'll just be a combination of the last few months. So over the last 2 months, I read a total of 10 books. I read 2 fantasies, 3 mysteries, and 5 romances. So I think I'm gonna do the romances first just because it's summer and I want to get them out of the way. So the first romance that I read was Jane and Dan at the End of the World. This book is a thriller romance, I guess, but not really in a mystery way, just like a... Sorry, my leg really itches, so if you see me lifting my leg up, it's because I'm itching my thigh because I have a mosquito bite on my leg. My boyfriend and I just got back from the lake. That's why I've been a little bit inactive. I apologize for that, but I'm back, I promise, and have some good content planned out for you. Anyway, getting back to the book, I really enjoyed the way that she writes. She reminds me a lot of Emily Henry's writing. It's very easy to read, very fast-paced. It's about this author who wrote this really unsuccessful book that didn't sell, and pretty much nobody read it besides like 5 people. So she goes to the restaurant with her husband. She's telling her husband that she's gonna get divorced with him, and she's just doing all this at this really nice restaurant where he takes her out on a really nice date, and the plot of her book happens at the restaurant, and you just learn about her book and the plot of her book and what's happening at the restaurant throughout the whole book, and it's really thrilling. It's really fun to read. I really enjoyed it. I think I gave it 4 stars on Goodreads. The second romance that I read was kind of like a literary fiction romance, and it's The Wedding People by Alison Espach, if that's how you say her name. I apologize if it's not, but I really enjoyed this book. I gave this book 4 stars as well. This book did take me a little bit to get through. I don't really know how to approach the subject of this book because I don't personally relate to it, but it's also something that's very traumatizing to a lot of people, so I don't really know how to talk about it, and it's also a spoiler if I mention it. So I'm just gonna say that the main character goes through a lot in this book, and she is going through something really big right now, and she's making this big decision, and she goes to a hotel to go through with that decision, and then she meets all these wedding people, mainly this girl named Lila. She's the bride, and she rented out the whole hotel, and she's just like, how did you book a room when I booked the entire hotel? The main character's name is Phoebe. So Phoebe's like, I don't know, I just booked a room and came, so I don't really know what to tell you. And Lila's like, okay, well you can't stay, and then they basically become really close friends. The banter between her and the MMC and the best friend is just all like so enjoyable to read, and I really enjoyed the way that she wrote this. I will say that her writing was a little bit simple, which isn't bad, but it's just like, it was like she said, I went to the bathroom to take a bath. While I was in the bath, I washed my body. I washed my body in the bath. Like, it was kind of repetitive and simplistic, but that's not a bad thing. It was really easy to read and I really enjoyed it, so 4 stars. Okay, y'all. This is a good one. As y'all know, in April, Emily Henry released her brand new romance novel, and it's Great Big Beautiful Life. Emily Henry is known for her romances. Like, her MMCs and her female main characters are just so iconic, and I love each and every one of them. I have read 5 out of 6 of her books, and the only one that I haven't read is Beach Read. So I haven't read that yet because I'm so terrified because it's just so hyped up, and I'm just like, it's intimidating. Like, what if I don't enjoy it? But I read this one within 2 days of it coming out. I pre-ordered it, so it was so much fun to come home and see this sitting on my porch. I did give this book 5 stars because I am biased and I love everything that Emily Henry reads. So in this book, our main female character, Alice, is obsessed with this family and their past, I guess. And she goes and she interviews pretty much the only family heir that is left of this really long family dramatic line, and she gets her side of the story and she writes about it. She's making this like article, I guess. It's been a while, so sorry if I don't get the plot completely right. While she's there, she's basically competing with Hayden, our male main character, and they both are trying to be the writer of this article. And the lady that they're interviewing gets to choose who is going to publish the article. They're competing with each other, but they're also really attracted to each other. So the lady they're interviewing is Margaret, and it goes through her viewpoint and her story and her background, and then it goes back to Alice and Hayden and them interviewing her. A lot of people on TikTok said said that they did not enjoy Margaret's side of the story, and I just don't understand how, because it was so intriguing to me and I wanted to know what happened, and if anything I enjoyed her side of the story more than I enjoyed the actual romance. So this is definitely something different from Emily Henry. I really enjoyed it. Highly recommend, 5 stars. The last romance that I read is also an Emily Henry book, and this is People We Meet on Vacation. Again, 5 stars. Everything Emily Henry writes is just beautiful, amazing, and I will read her grocery list. If you don't know, that's a line from The Fault in Our Stars, because she's talking about how she would read her favorite author's grocery list. So I would literally read Emily Henry's grocery list because I just love everything she writes. So this is a Friends to Lovers romance trope, and I have never read Friends to Lovers. This is the first Friends to Lovers I've ever read, and Emily Henry definitely did it justice. Again, this is one that people usually put at the bottom of their list, and I think that's because not a lot of people like Friends to Lovers, but I really enjoyed this book. I think I would definitely rank this higher than other Emily Henry books, and I flew through it in a day. Everything about this book was just fantastic. Basically, Alex and Poppy are best friends, and they have so much in common, but they're also so different, and they get into this argument and they break up for a couple years, and then they come back together and they go on this vacation because they always go on vacations in the summer. And Poppy, the female character, is trying to fix things up with Alex, and Alex is just having trouble with it. So that's the plot of this book. Highly recommend, 5 stars. Again, Emily Henry is just phenomenal. Oh my gosh, I missed a romance. So the last romance that I read was The Favorites, and this has been I would say my 3rd favorite book of 2025 so far, just because the 2 fantasies that I read were my favorites, and y'all will see why when I get to them. But The Favorites is a book about 2 ice skaters who are deeply in love with each other. They fell in love when they were children, and as they grow up, it just follows their ice skating career, and they want to get a gold medal in Olympics together. They are so obsessed with each other. On the cover it says something like, let me look at it. To the world they were a scandal, to each other an obsession. And the cover is also just so beautiful. I lent this book out to my mom's friend, so I don't have the physical copy with me right now, but I loved this book so much that I went to Barnes & Noble after I finished reading it on Kindle and bought the physical copy just so I could put it on my bookshelf. It was that good. It was so good. It was my favorite book of 2025 until I read the 2 fantasies that I read, and again, y'all will see why when I get to them. Highly recommend. I gave it 5 stars. If you're not into dark romance or like twisted romance, then I would not read this book because it will make you mad. There's a lot of miscommunication. If you're not into that like heart-wrenching romance, then do not pick up this book because it will break you. It definitely broke me. I loved it. I loved everything about it. I loved the way she wrote it. There was also like an interview side, kind of like Great Big Beautiful Life, and there was a romance side, like the actual plot, but there were a lot of plot twists. And even at the end, like, I don't know how I feel about the ending. I don't want to say anything about the ending because I feel like it's gonna spoil it, but it broke my heart. So I only listened to 2 thrillers, and then the last one I read. I would say the last one is like a mystery, and I borrowed it from a friend. I borrowed it from Landon, and it's actually in another video, but I'm just gonna go ahead and give my opinion in this video. So the 2 that I listened to were The Boyfriend by Frida McFadden and The Tenant by Frida McFadden. The Boyfriend by Frida McFadden, I enjoyed that a little bit more than The Tenant, I would say. It was just, there was a bigger plot twist at the end. I flew through it. I was on a bus for 30 hours earlier this month. Another reason why I have not been that active on YouTube, because I was just so worn out, and I just wanted to sit there with my headphones on and listen to my book. I think I gave it 4 stars. I think I'm gonna give that one 4 stars. I really enjoyed that one, but it was just not the 5-star feeling, I guess. Her characters are so easy to follow. Like, I feel like sometimes with thrillers, you're reading it and you're like, okay, I think it's this person, but I also don't quite remember who that person is because we don't have a lot of background information on them. But with Frida McFadden, she makes sure that you know who each character is, their background, why they are the way they are. And I like that it's also in first person, so you know like what they're thinking, you know their thought process, you know their actions and what they're doing. So I really enjoy Frida McFadden's writing, and that was the 2nd book that I read by her. The first book that I read by her on audiobook, I guess, and I know there's a controversy saying that if you listen to a book, you don't read it. I disagree. I think that if you listen to it, you have read the book. Like, even though you didn't open the book and stare at the page, you still know what happens. So the first book that I listened to was The Tenant, and that one, I think I'm gonna give it 4 stars as well, maybe 3.5. There weren't as many plot twists. Like even the major plot twist at the end when we figured out who did all the bad stuff, it wasn't as shocking as I thought it was gonna be. Like I kind of had a hunch the whole time, but it was still great. I still really enjoyed her writing. It was very similar to The Boyfriend in its writing style. Obviously it's the same author. Even the plot twists were kind of similar, but I really enjoyed both of these and I enjoyed listening to them. Thrillers are very easy to listen to. I recommend if you're just now getting into audiobook, buy a audiobook subscription and listen to thrillers instead of just going into romances or fantasy or whatever. And the mystery that I read was a physical copy that I borrowed from my friend Landon, who did a challenge where we swapped books and genres, and it was really difficult for me because I'm just not a mystery person. Like I'll read thrillers, but I'm just not really a big mystery person. So she gave me If We Were Villains by M.L. Rio, and I gave this book 2 stars. Yeah, 2 stars. And I don't give books 2 stars. Like that's just harsh in my opinion, okay? But this book just did not do it for me. I didn't really connect to any of the characters, and I feel like part of that is because there were too many, and it's almost like I was reading it to get to the end and not enjoying the book all the way through. There was also a lot of like Shakespeare writing in there, and if you like Shakespeare, then go for it. Like I think this book is great for you, but personally I've never read Shakespeare in my life, so I could not really understand why they were saying what they were saying. Basically these 6 people, they're friends, they're all at this theater college and it's very competitive. One of them dies, they're murdered, and throughout the whole book you're trying to figure out who it is, why they did it. There's just so many possibilities. So it did keep me on my toes, but like I said, I felt like I was just reading it to get to the end and not enjoying the book all the way through. So 2 stars. If you like Shakespeare, read it. If you don't, I don't think you're gonna like this book. Okay, y'all, the time has come. The 2 fantasies that I read this month are... I have 2 words for you right now, okay? Zayden Ryerson. I didn't even know, like, I didn't even know that I was gonna like fantasy this much, okay? Landon got me hooked, and I'm not okay. So I picked this up, read like, I don't know, 2 pages, and I was just hooked. I couldn't put it down, okay? I read this in like a week, and it's a brick. And I read other books while I was reading this because I'm one person who can read multiple books at a time, but this book, couldn't put it down. So our main character Violet lives in a world where when you come of age, you choose to be a scribe or a dragon rider to defend the country. Her whole life with her dad has been preparing to be a scribe, but then her mom tells her, Violet, you're going to be going to the Dragon Rider College, okay? You're going to be going to Basgiath to ride a dragon, basically. And there are fights, people die like every day. It's just very high stakes, and then she meets Zayden Ryerson. None of this is a spoiler because you can tell right off the bat that Zayden is the love interest, and yeah, he's just phenomenal. He is so amazing, and he just gets better as the book goes on. If you're looking for a romantasy to read, pick this book up right now, okay? I literally want to make a whole separate video just talking about Fourth Wing. I've never loved a book more than this book right here. I'm sorry, I'm like waving it all over the place, but yeah, read this book. It is so good. I can't really say anymore because I don't want to give any spoilers, but please read this book, 5 stars. As you saw earlier, the second fantasy book that I read this month was Iron Flame. This is the biggest book I have ever read in my life. It is like almost 700 pages and it's a beast, but I flew through it in like 3 days because Rebecca Yarros is just that good. I have a new goal in life, and it is to meet this woman who changed my perspective on reading. Like, I literally think that because of this book, I will never stop reading. And I've gone through phases where, you know, I read and then I don't read and then I read and then I don't read, but because of this book, I love fantasy now. I'm so interested in a whole new genre, and that is just so exciting, and I literally can't wait. Like, my top shelf, you can't see it right now, but my top shelf on my bookshelf is fantasy. I'll also give y'all a little bookshelf tour because this is new, as you can tell, and I'll be making a lot more book videos, but yeah. Iron Flame was so good. I rated this 5 stars. Again, I can't really give a summary because I don't want to spoil anything from the first book, but I'm already starting Onyx Storm today. I went out and bought it last night on my way home. Yeah, it's just incredible. Please do yourself a favor and read these. Also, I have the special edition copies with the cover, or with the dragons on the side. I was trying to wait until Onyx Storm came out like this so that I could have a complete set, but I just couldn't. And it was the same price on Kindle that it was in the physical copy, so I just got the physical copy. I'm a physical copy queen, okay? I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Those are all the books that I have for y'all today. I guess I'll give y'all a short little bookshelf tour. I bought this at IKEA, and it really needed to make an appearance in my room because I literally had books everywhere. I'll start at the bottom and go up. These are all of my religious books and like my journals and stuff, and then Golden Girls is my favorite TV show, so I have a few things from Golden Girls, and then all of my bookmarks are back there as well. This is my romance shelf, but this doesn't have all of my romance on it. It's also like literary fiction kind of, and I have all of my favorite authors together. Like I love Rebecca Searle, and I've read 2 of these. I don't think I've read The Dinner List, but it's definitely on my TBR. And I've read probably like, honestly, I've probably read like 50% of these books. And then up here I have Lovely and Emily Henry. Also, y'all, my boyfriend bought me this special edition. How beautiful is that? I'm just so intimidated by this book. And then this is historical fiction, literary fiction as well. I have some romance. They're all just kind of in there, I guess, which isn't the best, but oh well. And then up here we have dystopian, some fantasy, you know, some thrillers over here in the corner. I don't have as many thrillers as I do everything else, but I only have 6 thrillers. But again, I think I like to listen to thrillers more than I like to read the copy. I have the Hunger Games, I have my cute little plant, and then Olivia Blake is also one of my favorite authors. So I have Olivia Blake over here. And this is my fantasy shelf. I don't really think some of these are full fantasy. I think some of them are dystopian, but I also love Wicked, so I have both of the copies of Wicked. I've read like half of Wicked, so. And I have ACOTAR. I only have the first 2 books. Quicksilver, which is on my TBR for the next month, and then Onyx Storm. And then Fourth Wing and Iron Flame go right here, but again, I was showing them to y'all. Thank you so much for clicking on this video today. I love you all. I hope to see you in the next one. Bye, guys.